Hello everyone, this is Asclepius with Echoes from the Caverns. Echoes from the Caverns is distributed by Sir Style Tickle and is a joint podcast production produced and run by Lord Baldrith, Asclepius and Sir Style Tickle. The background music is by Stephen J. Goldman. Well, here we are, I'm back again after a couple of weeks off and enjoying being back in the chair. And with me this week, again, I have Sir Style. Welcome, Sir Style.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. And then I'd add, it's really good to have you back.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back in the chair and chattering away.
Okay. I definitely was not the best choice to have the reign solo while you're gone. I don't know that I did a very good job. I had to cancel last week, and the week before, I think, the audio was pretty bad.
Well, look, that's understandable. I mean, everybody has one or two things that they can do well. I'm probably what they'd call an expert, which means I can do one thing well. But don't ask me to do much else.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we've all got our strengths, and if you have the technology and the kit, it's easy. But if you don't, it's a nightmare. So,
sure,
not to worry.
Well, and there's part of that was I'm sure I could probably pick it up.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't know that it's a skill that I really have a desire or the interest for, and for 2 weeks of covering, I figured the learning curve was probably a bit steep for such a short game.
Exactly. Totally agree. Okay, well, this week we have update of the Avatar number 95, and we've got Steam access, a chess set, Soulless Bridge, and a 15% bonus, and Bedlam, and a phonograph, and much, much more. So working through from the top, if anybody's interested in chess, which I do play, I don't play it well, but I do play it, and that looks pretty awesome. You can, if you wish, buy from the add-on store a life-size chess set. And
I'll be honest, I've already picked one up.
Oh, fantastic. Look, I think I might have to go over to the add-on store and do exactly the same because it just looks really, really awesome. And judging from the photographs there, it is actually life-size. It looks, the king and the queen look about the size and height of the avatar.
Yeah.
Your own little avatar. So you park it on the roof of your castle or of your keep and whatever, and I suppose you can physically grab hold of the pieces and shove them around.
Yeah, I'm guessing they probably use the house decorating system for that.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Of course, which raises the concern if you have a guest over that you're playing, is it someone that you can trust well enough to give them permissions to that?
Yes.
So maybe you clear off everything on the roof in the surrounding area before a match.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
But yeah, it was an easy choice for me. I actually have some credit in the store right now, so
yeah,
I wasn't really spending any money to grab it.
Oh, it looks great. So look, anybody who's even halfway interested in chess, even if you're a casual player like myself, I could really recommend that. Go and grab one. It's going to be an awesome pictorial addition to your house anyway. That looks really good.
And let me be the first to offer you a match. Once we can play a game in game.
Excellent. You're on. Good.
All right.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Okay, now we come to Steam. So anybody who's Steam powered out there, and I guess there are a lot of people, Shroud is going through Steam. Now, as they said, for most of us who play on the website, it's not going to make a scrap of difference. If you want to play off the website or if you want to play through Steam, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So, it's totally up to us. But this is a technique and a marketing methodology which I think is a great idea, reaching out to a whole new community. I mean, let's face it, there must be hundreds of thousands or millions of people out there who have Steam installed. And as we know, Steam is a pretty powerful and pretty potent vehicle for the marketing, distribution, sale of many kinds of games.
They definitely have to be one of the top leaders out there.
Yeah. And so an awful lot of gaming people would sit down at the computer, power up Steam, and there you go. You download your game through it, you play through it, and awesome. And what's going to happen now is people will power up Steam and look at the games. Oh, there's a new game available. Oh, let's have a look at that.
Hopefully, Steam will also promote it a little bit too.
Yes. So it draws in a whole new clientele, and that's pretty much what it's about. Now, anybody the current backers who want to play through Steam, click on the link, redeem an access key. It's free for us because we've already subscribed. Sign in through Steam, go through the process. It's all there on the instructions page. Allow this to happen. You see the congratulations message, and there we are. Now, of course, as we know, you can't play right now because the game's not up. It will be up next weekend. So
do you use Steam, Sleepius?
I do use Steam, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm toying with the idea. I have a couple of games. The most I've played through Steam is Oblivion and Skyrim.
Okay.
I've downloaded Batman Arkham Asylum. Great
game. I played it on the PS3, I believe.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, I played part way through it, and then when it got to the stage where we were part way through the asylum, and he was fighting, maybe it was Bane, you really have to have dexterity and jumping and leaping and hitting 15 different buttons, and that got a bit much for me.
I don't remember how far I got into the game.
Yes.
I was enjoying it, and I got quite a ways in, and then sidetracked for a while, and I have a really hard time getting back into a solo player game of that type of gameplay.
Sure.
After being away for a while, and on the
yes,
other hand,
I know what you're saying.
Time starting over. Yeah. Now going back to Steam and the redeeming for your free key.
Yes.
I'm actually think I'm going to hold off on that.
Right.
And the reason why is I'm thinking back. I played Lord of the Rings Online for a couple of years.
Yes.
And I remember at one point in time for Lord of the Rings Online, they had a special in Steam where you could pick up and it's a free-to-play game, but you could pick up an account, and if you'd spent X number of dollars, you got a time, so much time added to your VIP account, and you got some free items.
Okay.
And it was a sale. It was a sale they ran, and the price was absolutely fantastic. It came out to much less than you would normally pay for the VIP, even if you weren't getting the bonus items.
Mm-hmm.
But if you already had a Steam account, you couldn't do it. If you didn't have a Steam account, you could take advantage of the sale and have it apply to your existing non-Steam account.
Okay.
So that just kind of, has me thinking, well, who knows, maybe something like that could happen with Shroud of the Avatar as a promotion 6 months or a year or even 2 years from now. So since I don't have a need to grab it, I think I'm going to hold off just in case.
Fair enough. And look, as we've said, if you download it and play it directly from the Shroud website, as we've done, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're not losing anything by holding off. So yeah, I will probably do the same. But it's an interesting development, and look, I hope it brings more people into the game.
Yeah, that's just a win for everybody.
It is, absolutely. And as they say at the end, this is the installation process. Let us know if you have any problems, and thanks for helping us test the Steam Access Key redemption and download installation process. Okay, next item is the Release 11 Grand Tour quest. Once again, we have a Grand Tour, which is only 6 days away, so it's getting pretty exciting and pretty close.
Wow.
And so they've got a Grand Tour to guide us through all the new content. And just in time for Halloween, there's a tricorn hat available with a carnival mask. Now that looks pretty cool.
It does, and I don't know. I'm wondering if they might make it a little bit more difficult this time.
Yes. Yeah, because actually it was fairly easy last time.
It was. It was very easy, especially once you knew where to go.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
It'll be interesting if that's going to be the norm, or if they did that to draw us in, and then they're going to make it increasingly difficult.
Yes. Yep. And I'll make a short segue here. I was going to mention this a little later, and I might still mention it, but a lot of people, as I mentioned in my last newscast, which was a few weeks ago now, a lot of people had trouble getting into the challenge dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
And enormous kudos and credit to the developers, especially Chris, because they couldn't reproduce this. And they obviously have a limited range of hardware in their office.
Mm-hmm.
They have as many people as they can playing it. They try to simulate crappy connections. They try to simulate lag. They try to, do whatever they can, and they just couldn't make it happen. And suddenly they've got all these people crying out, saying, what's going on? We can't get into the challenge dungeon. We're stuck in this loop. And to their eternal credit, they burrowed down in all the data and eventually found the problem. And it's fixed.
Yep.
And as Chris said in his summary, that's his reason number 937 or whatever it is, why he loves testing like this. Because you can put something up and with a limited amount of testing you think, yeah, it's great. But when you get a lot of people on board, that's when you really find out whether it works.
Right. Yeah.
And the developers have commented many, many times, and I think the community needs a big pat on the back. By and large, we are a very supportive community, and we realise and we know that we're entering a construction zone. This is not a finished game. Things are going to break. Things will fall over. But it's our testing and feedback that helps make it a good product. And they need thousands and thousands of people to try it out and try to make it break. And if it breaks, well, they find out where it broke and fix it.
Exactly, and then we won't have that happen when it really matters.
That's exactly right, and that's how we're going to get an awesome game. So there we are. It looks like a pretty good reward, and nice hat, lovely mask. It almost looks like an albino.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I might have occasion to wear that during the game. All right. Next item, Solus Bridge. Another new area.
Beautiful screenshot.
Isn't that lovely? Okay. That just looks amazing. And is one area they're going to dynamically change the state of scenes. So either through random events or player actions or updates. And they've got two versions of the scene that we can visit. And the one version is the battle. It's the aftermath of a village defending itself against an undead army. So that'll be cool. And then if you return later, it may be another pitched battle between villagers and undead already underway. So you never know what the place is going to be like.
And I think it's a great taste of the sort of thing that we might see a lot of for the game.
Yeah.
And given that this really is kind of a taste, it's going to get better.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. This is exactly as you say. One thing that we need to remember: this is a taste and a demonstration of how things are going to be. Give it a try it out, and it's going to get better and better, and more comprehensive. And we'll access this via the lunar rift in Owl's Head. So, brilliant. And next we have an amazing piece of kit that Bubonic has come up with, which is the phonograph.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, look, I have no idea how people come up with these things. They are just awesome. Possibly, people who understand computer coding and all the intricacies of this will sit back and think, oh yeah, that's cool, I sort of understand what he did there. To somebody like myself, it's just gobsmacking. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. And something we can use in-game. It looks cool. It looks just like an old-style phonograph with a trumpet speaker and little cylinders that go round and round. And the beautiful thing is you can record music on it and play it in your home.
And I actually did a news piece on this, on him doing this, 2-3 days ago, I think it was. But at the time, while the asset had been accepted, he didn't know if they were actually going to use it, if it was official that they would use it for that pledge reward.
Right.
So it's cool that a couple of days later that we do kind of have confirmation of that through the news release.
Yeah, that's right. So now it is a reward for Navigator and up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's brilliant. So a lot of people will be able to have it as part of their pledge. And
that just saved who knows how many hours of a dev's, or one of the devs' time, so that they can work on something else.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. And this is just an example of what the combined effort of the devs and the community can do. Brilliant. So full kudos and credit to Bubonic for doing that, and I'll be looking forward to having one of those in the house.
Absolutely.
And playing some wonderful... I'm not exactly sure how you get the music on it, but I'm sure that'll be explained. And that's going to be great fun to enjoy.
I can see themed libraries, player-owned libraries that will probably end up containing nothing but instead of books, wax cylinders.
Yes. Yeah. Now that'd be great. Have your own little bookshelf in the house. You could have books in one section if you like, and all your little wax cylinders on another shelf.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. And next we have, time is running out, the 15% bonus. So, hey, that's a good value for anybody who's thinking of pledging, who's thinking of supporting the game a little bit more. Update your existing pledge or purchase an add-on item. Right, from now through Black Friday weekend, so there's 45 days left to go. Anything you purchase, you get an additional 15% bonus. So even if you're thinking of upgrading your pledge, say you wanted to buy something that was a whisker over $100, well, you could just go and buy $100 worth of store credit, wait 24 hours, and you find you have $115 of store credit. And then you can apply that to whatever you want.
Right, yeah.
So, excellent. Good value, good incentive, good for the game, and, well, good for yourself. if you want a slightly higher pledge with all the perks or some add-on items or whatever it may be. Okay, and the tabletop gaming with Will Wheaton. Richard Garriott, Lord British, recently visited with Will Wheaton and guests to play 5 Tribes. Have you ever played that one, Style?
I have not. I've heard of it, but it's just one that has not crossed my gaming table.
Right, okay, no, I've not heard of it either. But they look as if they're having an awful lot of fun. And yeah.
Well, I know it was interesting because I do remember quite a while back, I don't know how long ago it was, when there was a Twitter, and I believe it was Browncoat Jason,
yeah,
who retweeted a tabletop gaming tweet. So I had to think of the term there.
Yeah,
too many tweets in the same sentence.
Yes.
And to Richard, saying, "Hey, Richard, you should do a go on tabletop gaming sometime with Will Wheaton." And Richard replied back, "I would love to do that sometime. That would be absolutely fantastic." And of course, Browncoat Jason, being the excellent person that he is, made sure that Richard's reply was retweeted over to Will Wheaton.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's really what got the ball rolling on that or not, but I believe from what I observed that might have kind of been the start of this happening.
Fantastic. I'm going to have to get into this whole tweeting thing.
It's a pain.
Is it really?
It's actually very, very simple. It's a great way to just, with the character limits, to keep up with very short things going on with people. But it's the retweets that kill you, because using Browncoat Jason as an example, he retweets a lot of different the gaming things out there on the net, and right. I'm not interested in all of them.
Sure.
But because I follow him, I get everything he retweets.
Yes.
So I get tons and tons and tons of stuff that I'm just not interested in.
Yep. Fair enough. Yep. I know, in a similar vein, my brother-in-law has recently taken up Facebook. And I don't know what he does with... I mean, he's pretty busy, but he must wake up pretty early in the morning and spends a few hours just trawling through Facebook. Anything he likes or interested in, he reposts. Right. And, of course, if you're following him, you get a raft of stuff, most of which you're probably not interested in.
Well, and I'm sure there's a lot of my Shroud of the Avatar community audience that reads my blog. Yeah. That probably looks at half of what I blog out and is cursing behind the scenes on Style. I'm not interested in that. Because I am fairly well known for putting out pieces on just about anything with a relationship. Sure. And I'm sure some of those do not interest people at all. And they now I know speaking of Facebook and that, I'm guessing my Facebook readers are pretty upset right now. My application that automatically copies over my blogs for me to the Shroud of the Avatar Facebook group I run, which actually just broke 400 members. If you're a listener or you're a member, thank you very much.
Great.
But for the last month, the application wasn't posting over to Facebook, and I didn't realize it. And it happens once in a while. It just needs to be reauthorized.
Yeah. And
with my delay in catching that, of course I said, well, I'll republish some of the more important tidbits, but, hop over to the website and take a look at things. It really made me realize how many articles I put out in a month. And I'm sure for the last 2 days, everyone in that Facebook group has had a lot of very unkind things to say about my name. Due to all these articles being reposted.
There's one thing that can be... No, there's two things that can be said about your output. One is prodigious, and two is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So, look, you do a great job. But
I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, honestly, it keeps people up to date with everything that's happening in Shroud.
About a month's worth in 2 days, though.
Well,
I think might be. Hopefully they forgive me. It's a one time. Because what I was finding is that it was really hard to say, well, this isn't that important.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you never know who it's important to.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think I republished about half of it, which was pretty significant.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So you just push it out the door and hope that it's good for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did put it on my calendar to check every 3 or 4 days now to make sure things are still going over there okay, so that doesn't happen again.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Alrighty. And now they're cross-advertising a game called Bedlam. And they're just giving a shout-out for that. A cool game being kickstarted by our friends and fellow Austinites at Skyshine Games. And for those of us who like it, it's a strategic single-player roguelike turn-based RPG set in a post-apocalyptic era. So there you go. I had a quick look at the video and that looks fine. So there you go. Anybody who's into that kind of thing, jump over to their Kickstarter page and pledge your support. There's only 7 days left in their Kickstarter. So if you'd like to jump on board, go over and show them some love.
And what caught my eye about that, and I don't think I'll be getting into it. I think until we're playing Shroud of the Avatar, I think project work for that's going to be my only gaming hobby, and then once I'm into that, I think it will occupy my time. But what I did like about it is, like Star said, that heavy metal look to the game. Now,
yes.
are you familiar with heavy metal? Did you ever see it?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. All right. Well,
no, I'm a total novice.
Well, if you ever get the chance, check it out.
Sure.
It does have quite a bit of nudity and violence in it, so make sure the children, if you have any at the house at the time, aren't watching it. And depending on your wife, you may or may not want to watch it when she's around.
Yeah.
But it really is a interesting movie. And I have an original copy on VHS still.
Oh, great.
I only own 2 VHS tapes, and that's one of them.
Yeah, they've sort of gone by the way now, haven't they?
Definitely. Well, and the reason I kept the heavy metal one is what had happened with that is the reason it's called heavy metal is it uses a lot of heavy metal music from that era when it was made.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know if it was more than one piece or if it was just one piece, but there was some music used in it that did not have the proper permissions. And as a result, they had to take it off the market. And I believe it was off the market for somewhere between 10 and 20 years before it was able to be re-released. So it definitely was one of those things that it was out for a while and then it was gone.
Oh, that's embarrassing if you just don't get the right permissions to use stuff. Yeah. Wow.
Hopefully something I never accidentally do in my work.
Oh, yeah. Well, I notice you're pretty careful about doing all the right things. Yeah.
Even if it's not necessary, it's just polite.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I mean, credit should go to everybody who's done work.
Exactly.
And even if it's just a nod of the head and an acknowledgement and say thanks for letting us use your work. Mm-hmm. Hey, they have the talent, they've done the work. So yeah, that's what should happen. Okay, moving on to double robotics. That's a interesting segment. And it says Richard Lord British Garrett. He primarily operates out of his New York Britannia Manor and commutes to Austin about 1 week a month, but the rest of the time he is virtually there. And that's a cool looking robot. And he's able to wheel it around the studio and commune with the staff. And as they said in the video, it's almost like being there. You know, the first time I saw something like that was on that show, The Big Bang Theory. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you follow that one at all?
I've caught it a couple of times. I don't follow it regularly.
Yeah. And Sheldon, the ultimate geek, had developed one of these. He called it his virtual presence device. And now I see that, yes, it is a real thing. It's not just on TV, it's a real thing. And Richard Garrett's using it all day, every day.
Well, and I remember when he he actually has two. And I remember when he bought the first one, the company that was manufacturing was really just getting started. Yep. And this was back during the Portalariums, long before Kickstarter, back when they were doing the Ultimate Collector stuff on Facebook and some other games that a lot of Charlie Avatar people have no idea were even out there.
Yep.
And he bought one of their first ones, and there's an article actually in my archives on my news site somewhere on it, because I kept all that stuff back then, knowing that eventually he was going to be doing an MMO because he was talking about it, and that I was going to run a website, and I would probably want all these old articles on it. And I believe it was a $20,000 robot, and the price has dropped down significantly since then, and he picked up the second one, and I believe, if I remember the news article on that one, it was $10,000, and I think they're down to somewhere around 6 or 8 now.
Oh, great.
And of course, I think that goes to show you, a company comes out with some new technology.
Yes.
Someone that's wealthy starts investing into it to use it.
Yes.
And as time goes on, the price starts to go down. So.
Yeah. Hey, now I can see an opportunity here. If we can fix that with a pair of robotic arms and a little bit of manipulation, I can sit at home and go to work with it.
I think I could actually probably do my job with one just the way it is now, but my bosses would never sign off on it in a million years.
What a
It's
shame.
never happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, I would come up with $8,000. I would put it on the credit card if I had to, and suffer the debt for however many years it took.
Yes.
If that's what I had to do, if I could get out of bed every morning and do my work from the computer at home. Yeah,
wouldn't that be great?
Oh, yeah. And I would work just as hard as I do at work, and I would get just as much done. It would just be, it'd be nice. It'd be a nice environment.
Sure, that's right.
If you want something to eat, you have your kitchen.
Yes.
Your own bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
It'd be fantastic.
Oh, very nice. And you don't have all the travelling.
Yeah. Oh, I'm jealous.
Yes. It'll come.
Yeah, probably after our time, I think.
I think so. All right, now we're moving on to Last Chance Exclusive. So every week they're going to take some items out of the add-on store. So if you want them...
I was surprised to see that.
Yeah, get them before they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go. That's a little bit more of an incentive. So if you don't buy it now, you won't be able to. So the cubit measure of prosperity, which is, it looks very nice, and the crafting sigil cloak. So if you like either one of those as a permanent item in-game, indestructible, as they say, you can craft or purchase a cubit measure in-game, but this one will never need repair. So this is good for the next however many years the game runs.
One of the things that jumped out at me is that also as part of this Last Chance Exclusive is they're doing an additional 20% off on those items.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's a good thing. Yes.
Well, and that means if you already have a cubit or a crafting sigil cloak, you could turn those into credit, rebuy them.
Yep.
And end up with a few credits left over. And of course, if you do it right now, there's also ways you could work that 15% into there.
Oh, very cunning. Yes.
So now, if you have the prosperity packs, or the cloak pack, it's probably not going to do you any good to do that. But if you just bought those two individual items, that might be a good opportunity.
There you go. All right. So there are many ways of getting a good deal. And that's tremendous.
But now what I wonder is if they'll bring it back later.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay. And down towards the bottom, the Alienware is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who wants to start up a pledge, use the Alienware.
That's a fantastic thing.
Oh, it is. That's right.
That is just really fantastic.
I mean, basically, it's $20 free.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Okay, upcoming events. Release 11 access on the 23rd of October. Brilliant. And while I'm here...
Let's just skim through that a little bit and get down to the one on October 31st there, Sleepiest.
Yes.
Is
yes.
that one that you might be able to partake in?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where it is.
For our listeners, October 31st is Shroud of the Avatar at PAX Australia.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, where Sleepiest is from. So
absolutely.
I was curious if it would be near enough to you to get in on that.
Sure. I'm totally guessing, but I'm thinking probably not. Okay, because I'm in Perth, which is way over on the western side. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason I was away for the last couple of weeks was that I had a conference, which I sort of had to go to. Mm-hmm. That was being held on the Gold Coast in Queensland. Mm-hmm. And to get from Perth to the Gold Coast, you first fly to Sydney, and then from Sydney to the Gold Coast. And it's about 4 hours or so to Sydney, hang around for an hour or two, another hour and a bit to the Gold Coast. So you're spending most of the day travelling. Mm-hmm. And the same again coming back. And of course, when you're flying westwards, it's always longer. So to get from one side of the country to the other takes a while.
And that makes sense. And that definitely makes sense.
And
I was hoping
Sydney and Melbourne
just might get lucky.
Oh, wouldn't it be great? Yeah. Sydney and Melbourne are the big cities. So I'm guessing it would probably go to one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now let me ask you another question.
Yes.
And even though I've never been to Australia, I'm sort of in the know.
Right.
So should we send the devs over at Portalarium that are going and tell them to watch out for dropping bears?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm in the no on that one. So.
Oh, definitely. Yep. Yeah.
I might have to find out who's going to that and
yes.
give them a heads up on the dropping bears.
Yes, and we'll give them a free crocodile to play with.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Lovely. Alrighty, now, one or two things that I've managed to glean from the forums and things this week. Mm-hmm. A little note that was buried, which I didn't notice.
And I'm a little behind, so I might not know this.
There you go. I didn't notice it. Like yourself, I skim over this post until Amber Rain sort of picked up on it. Mm-hmm. And Dallas was saying when they're taking part in Steam Access, a couple of things have to be considered. One is reliability. Mm-hmm. The game has to be more stable than it is now, because this was actually a compliment to our community. Our community is very tolerant and understanding.
Sure.
The Steam community maybe not so much.
Right.
So have to work on stability. The other thing they have to think about working on is 24/7 access.
Yes.
And that looks like being brought forward to November 24.
Yeah, I did see something on that. I think
yes.
Star mentioned something on that in his quarterly update, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So November 24, we may have the magic word persistence.
I'm not ready.
So the game could...
I thought I had more time.
Yes. So
I have too many projects that are going to take some time to tie down and put more into a lower end maintenance mode.
Sure.
Than they are right now, and that's also about the same time. I'm going to have to start working 60-hour weeks for 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh no! Oh, that's deadly.
About the time we go into persistent, if they do make that date, will be about the same time that you will not see me in game until about January.
Oh. Well, the only silver lining for you is, although it's persistent, it's not the finished game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably not even beta.
Well, and I'll be honest. If it was the finished game, if it was episode 1 going live, it's what's going to be very bad timing for me. I went to sleep.
Yeah.
I'll give up my sleep.
Yeah.
For testing, for persistent testing, I'll probably choose my sleep.
Sure, that's right. And I think a lot of people will feel the same. Mind you, for the diehards, and I know there are a lot out there, any sleep you want to get in, do it before the 24th of November.
Well, I think what it's going to offer an opportunity for, what I think we're going to see a lot of happening, and actually one of the reasons I'm a little disappointed by the timing that I'd really like to get into it a little bit more, is I think it's when we're going to actually be able to start getting to know each other in the community better in game, and so it's going to be when the guilds are going to start forming more solidly than they have. The guilds will start being able to do events, doing
more
things
of a society.
With each other.
Yeah,
right. People will learn that they chose guilds they're not happy with. They'll just leave and join other guilds. We're going to see a lot of that taking place. A lot of people dropping out of guilds. A lot of people joining guilds that haven't chosen one, and it's a good thing. It's a real good thing. So
that's right. And it will be a good opportunity to test the progression, the growth of the economy, and the whole structure of the game on an ongoing basis. And they have mentioned, so don't be distressed, people, there will be wipes.
Yeah.
So
they'll have to do wipes.
So look, if changes have to be made, if updates have to happen, then don't think it's the end of the world if you log in one day and say, but everything's gone, but my house is gone.
Have fun, test things, get to know people, find the right guilds, the right groups, but don't put too much time into establishing your virtual properties and skills.
Yeah. Because things could still be wiped. They probably will still be wiped. They're trying not to do it too often. Just consistent with a logical and orderly and sensible development of the game. So, there you go. We could well have persistence come November, and that's going to be awfully good fun. Okay, now a couple of more items. Oh, just one thing I picked from the summary of the R10 post-mortem. As I mentioned, the challenge dungeon is fixed. I think Chris mentioned they had about 850 items to do before the next release. So I don't know when they have time to do all these things.
Yeah.
But it's an awesome effort. Zoning is going to be phased out.
That's good. I'll miss it.
Yeah, I will miss it.
I wouldn't want it in episode 1, but I will miss it in testing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great thing for testing. It's a great thing for the early stages. But they did mention that it was starting to be overused, and people were using it for griefing, which is not right. So,
no.
So we're going to have to learn to live without it eventually.
Yeah. The thing I really appreciated about the zoning was that because we are in testing right now, the number of people playing is a lot smaller than it would be if it's a live game.
Yes.
And not only that, but then the amount of time they're on is smaller.
Yes.
So there have been many times I've logged into game and couldn't really find anyone running around.
Yeah.
And the zoning ability combined with the friends list let me say, okay, there's 3 people I know. Let's see what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it gave me a few opportunities to interact in game, whereas otherwise I might have said, I'm going to log out. Yeah.
That's right. Yes. But as you say, once the game is live, there should be a lot more people around.
Oh, yeah.
And, we can
completely
find
different
otherwise.
situation at that point. Yeah.
I think it will be. Yeah. They were talking about control points. They're going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And like a mountain pass or something like that. And it can be under NPC control. And so you come in and take it over and hoist your flag. And then it becomes like the challenge dungeon in reverse. You get increasingly serious waves of enemies trying to take it back from you. And that'll be fun.
Well, and I also remember there's been talk of the past of having some crafting stations.
Yeah.
That are, a level higher than what anyone can own. That may only exist at control points.
Ah. Yeah. Well, that'd be consistent, wouldn't it? Because all of the really cool stuff and all of the really high value stuff you have to fight for.
Right.
Yeah. This is going to be an awesome game. Okay. And Chris admitted that the game was unstable. And he said, very sorry about that. But they'll fix it. And I thought there was a brilliant response on the forum. And I forget who said it, so apologies. But Chris made this post and said, look, sorry, we suck. And then somebody else wrote back and said, you only suck if you're not trying to fix it and make an awesome game. And I thought,
right.
Hey, that's a good response.
Or if you're not honest about it. I mean, they're trying to fix it, and they're honest about it. What more do you want?
That's right, exactly, yeah. And this is uncharted territory. And they are in the midst of building probably one of the most awesome games around. And
boy, I hope so.
Yeah. And if they find that something doesn't work, well, they scuttle away immediately and fix it.
Yeah.
And I think, well, hey, what more can you ask? And actually, a complete and utter segue. When we were coming back from this conference, jumped on the plane in Sydney, and everybody was climbing on board, just about ready to go. And the captain came on the PA and said, look, I'm sorry, we've got a little bit of a problem. There was a medical issue.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody sounded as if they were unwell, and the medical staff came on board and effectively said, no, I'm sorry, we can't take you.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to get off. And the people weren't too happy about that, but that's what had to be.
Sure.
So they had to get off, which means they had to open up the baggage hold and get their bags out, because you never take unaccompanied baggage.
Sure.
And that delayed us by about 45 minutes. And the captain came back a few times and said, look, I'm really sorry about this. There's nothing we can do about it. We're getting onto it as quickly as we can, ta-da, and we'll do our very best for you. And they even, got clearance to alter their flight path a little bit to try and go more direct, to try and make up a few minutes. Mm-hmm. And even when he got back to Perth, he said, look, there was nothing else we could do. We did make up a few minutes. We were never going to make it on time, but we did our best for you. Now, what argument can you have with that?
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Stuff happens. People do their best.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do is when it happens, is deal with it the best you can.
That's right.
And I think that's really what establishes good service. Yeah, is how you react to the problems. Not that you have them. You're going to have them. Period. Oh, yeah, doesn't matter how good you are. Yep. It's how you react to them is what's important.
That's right. And
I got a story. Talking about, and I hope this isn't adding too much to this newscast, but I was in Disney.
Yeah.
And I took my daughter a few years ago, and we were going for 9 or 10 days in Florida.
Yeah.
United States, and we flew and we got to the hotel, and I was doing I told her, so I'm probably only going to ever take you once. This is expensive, but if I'm only ever going to take you once, I'm going to do it right. And I went all out. We stayed in one of the lodges there, Animal Kingdom Lodge, with the balcony and wildlife running around right outside the whole works. Princess package for everything.
Nice.
But we got there, and they were handling my luggage for us. I also did that package.
Yep.
And we got to the room and everything, and the luggage is supposed to be there, and it's not there. So I go down to the front desk, and it was late. We got in pretty late, and I told the front desk, I said, look, I don't, our luggage isn't here. Well, I was told, well, they're still making runs to the airport for it. Just be patient. You should be fine. I was like, okay, that's no problem. And time's going on. Well, and it was getting pretty late. I think it started to get around 11 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And I went back down. And, of course, I was especially concerned because this is an important part of the story. I had a lot of medications and stuff in my luggage.
Yeah.
That I would probably, maintenance stuff. Nothing life-threatening, but definitely stuff that I did not want to use.
Stuff that you need.
Yeah, allergy meds was a big one.
Yep.
And so I went back down and I said, look, I still don't have my luggage, and I told them that, and they said, well, that's definitely raises it to a new concern, but we're actually trying to find it now because it hasn't come back. And long story short, they were sending drivers to airports, to different places, to different luggage stations, just to look for my luggage at their expense. I mean, they're sending these people out everywhere.
Right.
And the guy in the lodge at that point had offered to take me to a Walmart or a CVS or whatever, and buy me clothing to get through the night, because our pajamas were packed up and stuff like that. Offered to buy us and pay for us whatever we needed. They said that if I needed to get refills of medications and my insurance wasn't covered, they'd pay for it for me. The works. I mean, and they eventually did. Before we quite went that far, they did retrieve my luggage. It wasn't their fault. Disney did not lose it. It was the airport. The airport had somehow messed up the tagging on it.
Yeah.
And but they tracked it down. They traced it down. They argued with people at the airport, and until they got it, and they brought it back to me. And then to top it off, they gave a pretty significant discount to my bill for the trouble, even though it wasn't their fault.
Yeah. Now that is service.
Yeah.
And that leaves a beautiful taste in people's mouth. And hey, as you've just done, you spread the word.
Exactly.
And good PR like that is more value than anything you might have spent.
Mm-hmm.
That's worth doing.
Exactly.
And I think the vast bulk of our community would agree. The devs have been awesome in their approach.
Oh, yeah.
They're just trying as hard as they can to be responsive, to be engaging, and to get onto this. And any problem that crops up, fix it.
Their patience is amazing.
Oh, I know. That's right. Even when they get feedback that isn't the greatest.
Talking of travel,
yeah,
and the upcoming events, did you notice that they're going to both Paris and Sweden?
Yeah.
They must really be pushing, trying to market this in some other countries.
They are, yeah.
They've talked about it, and we know
brilliant.
Germany's the first official, but I saw that and I said, wow, they're really working that.
They are, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, and another exciting event that happened this week, the Shroud of the Avatar Writing Roundtable has been opened. This is something I think is a great idea.
Absolutely.
It's been developed by writers, for writers. Largely looks as if it's driven by Viren and Wombi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, hey, you know all about this because you've been working behind the scenes, and they obviously put the finger on you because they've seen what a brilliant job you do for us.
That was a large part of it, yeah. I'm definitely involved. They contacted me, and they said, hey, we have this project. Here's what we want to do. And we were wondering if you would help us with it, or And they actually, I really felt honored. They offered me a full partnership in the project. It wasn't a, hey, can you just kind of post a site for us and maybe do a little of the work, and we're going to have this project. They wanted to bring me in, full project. I could be involved in And I told them, I said, guys, I have too much. I have too many projects I've taken on, and too many things to maintain, and I would love to, but I can't put that kind of time into it. But I do want to help you out with it. And I chose the role of primarily, I'll give you guys some of my hosting space and let you run this. And do administration work on the website that you need and things like that. And they were good with that. They were awesome about that. I've been pretty busy, and as a result, Byron tackled some of the coding himself, even though he hasn't done it since the HTML days, really.
Yeah.
So
I remember that well.
Yeah, I pointed him and here and there and gave him some hints and said, okay, this file, you're going to be looking for something like this, and here's an important command, and he played around with it a lot. Once I had installed the software, I did spend almost an entire initial weekend getting things laid out for them and so forth. But I haven't done too much with it since then. After January, I should have more time on my hands, and I definitely hope to be quicker to respond to their needs at that point in time. But they've been extremely understanding about it. But going back to the purpose of the project, like you said, it's the two of them that really put this together. Their hearts and their heads are in the right place. This isn't a let's make names for ourselves, or they enjoy writing, and they enjoy the mechanics of it. They enjoy getting feedback about the work they do.
Yep.
And they wanted a place where the writers can gather and post things they're working on and help each other make it better. Make each other better writers, and that's what this is. This is what this is all about.
Yeah, and I think that's an awesome project. I couldn't be more supportive of it. I have to say here that I remain in awe, and I'm so impressed with the breadth and the quality of the writing that's coming from the community. I get some of the stuff that you send delivery trucks out regularly. and drop these things on my desk, but they are wonderful, and yes. I think, wow, these guys have real talent, and it's a pleasure to read them. It's a pleasure to put them into podcasts, and anybody, if it's just a group of writers like this who are sitting down, offering each other suggestions, offering each other support, advice, guidance, critiques, how to make your writing better in a friendly, cooperative atmosphere, I think that's absolutely brilliant.
A couple more things to throw out there for our listeners.
Yeah.
Sleepiest's joke there is, one of my lower things on the priority list is often getting permissions for stories that people have written. Not because it's not important, but it's because he usually already has 30 or 40 pieces that need to be done, and so I know getting him more is not a rush. And because it's low on my priority list, what will happen is once every few weeks, and of course Lord Baldrith knows this also because he's experienced it, I'll have some time. And that's usually when I'll send out 20 or 30 requests. And 24 hours later, Sleepiest is getting, 15, 20 more pieces of fan fiction all at once, and then nothing for 2 or 3 weeks. So that, hence the delivery truck reference there. I definitely do it in spurts.
You do.
But that is one of the things that I really hope long term that this project that Wambi and Byron are working on is going to accomplish is. Like you said, one of the reasons that they did contact me was because of the podcasting work, because they saw it as a great tie-in. They know that you and Lord Baldrith really do the work. You're the stars of the show as far as the recording it and putting it together and everything. But they've seen that you guys are happy working with me being kind of more on that PR side, that. The technical side on the website and stuff, and that was what they needed someone for. Yep. And so they knew that I was, they've already seen for themselves that I'm easy to work with, and of course we've done podcasting for them. We've done their work before.
Well, we have. That's right.
So they worked with us a little bit, But also, even beyond that, is they felt it was a great choice because they're hoping to develop a really good relationship with the authors of this group and, the Echoes of the Cavern and the New Britannia Theater group and the podcasting.
Great.
What those tie-ins will be, we really don't know yet. I said, well, we've talked about it a little bit, but we're tabling it, letting them get this project off the ground, let the authors get involved. But at some point, I'm hoping this becomes a really good delivery tool.
Yes.
That after the authors have polished everything, it makes it a very smooth, easy process to get it over to you and Lord Baldrith, so that you have pieces coming in fairly regularly instead of 30 at once. Now, that's definitely not. It's definitely not to say I still don't want us to get things from the forums and other people in the, elsewhere. But I'm hoping this will, just be a great tool.
It streamlines the process, and it's another source, and that's excellent.
And I think also one final aspect that I really like about this project is I'm not the best writer, and one of the things I don't like about writing is I do not like the mechanics of it. Different people like different things, and that's something I'm not into. And I hate reading through forum threads of talking about, well, this person, you should take your third person reference here, and so I think having a website outside of the Shroud of the Avatar forums for the sausage making, if you will, to use a popular term, and then after the sausage making is finished, moving it back to the Shroud of the Avatar forums is fantastic. So that way the people that do want to be involved in it have a place to be involved in it, but the people that don't want to be involved in it get to just see the final product. Yeah,
that sounds really good.
And that's what I think is the coolest thing about this project.
It is. So look, I have great hopes for that. I think it's going to be awesome. Okay, and a couple of final things, I think. As we say, tomorrow night we have the final episode of Avatar Chronicles being screened.
Ooh.
That's going to be great to look forward to.
That's going to be,
Yep. So I hope everybody enjoys that nearly as much as we enjoyed making it. And what have we got coming up? We've got Hobloth.
Come on, get that big piece out there.
We got Hobloth 2. Release 12's coming. Yeah, I know. So that's awesome. You're going to have great fun there.
Oh.
Yeah. And so next weekend, the game will be up and live, release 11. Now, this is a save the date. I'll say more about it next week. But if you're watching the release 10 post-mortem, right at the end, they were talking about the radio and what a wonderful contribution it was. And Lord British made the comment, or the wish, that people could be performing actions in the game while it was being streamed live via Avatar's radio. And I will just say that, my liege, be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. So, on Saturday, October the 25th, at 10 a.m, in Paxlair, the New Britannia Theatre Group will be putting on a short production.
I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. I'll toss out there, I have not been involved in this project other than watching them go at it, Sleepiest especially, and cheering encouragement along the way, and saying, man, this is awesome, I wish I was more involved in it, and I'm going to promote this like crazy for you guys.
Thank you.
I think I'm impressed with what you guys have done. I'm impressed with the coordination. I think this is going to be fantastic.
Well, I hope so. And look, I will say a couple of words of warning. It's the first time any of us have done anything like this. So, hey, it's like the game itself. We are excited. We are really excited. But any number of things could go wrong. So
it's a test.
It's a test.
And the thing is you're setting the groundwork for it to be done again and to be done better.
Yeah, it's a proof of concept, if you will. Now, it is also fairly short. We are thinking of maybe putting on one or two additional small items just to make it worthwhile for people to come along. I mean, we're talking under 10 minutes at the moment. But I, for one, thought we need to get our feet wet. We need to learn how to do this. We're all a bit terrified. I would rather... And Gabriel, who is an awesome scriptwriter, I will say, he came up with a concept, and I said, no, I think that's a bit long. I want to do something shorter to start with. I would rather do a short play and do it well than a long play badly. And if we get our teeth into this, and if we can do it well, if we can really knock this out of the park, then
you can look at making it longer.
Then people can expect bigger and better things in the future. So,
well, and I would add to that. I think 10 minutes is great for all the reasons you said. Yeah. But also because it is a very short window of game time.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to need time to practice.
That is true.
You're going to need time to build, even though Paxler's helping, you still got to build stages, you got to acquire your property. If you use any props, you have a lot of work to do before it even goes, live for the event. And you don't have a lot of time to do it in. And for that reason, short is better.
Yeah. Well, thanks first up to the people from Paxler who have offered us their town to use, and they said they're going to build us a stage. So that is just over awesome. So thank you to all of those, to Governor Winfield and to all of the troops from Paxler. It's indeed an honour. So we just hope we can do it justice. So look, more about that next week, but keep the date, and we'd love it if a few people came along. Okay.
I will definitely be there, and I'll help out however I can.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, well, I think we've just about done the news to death. So, thank you so much for being here, Sir Style.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll look forward to the game coming live next week and all of the great events that are going to take place in the game. They will all be listed in Dallas's update next week, I'm sure, which we'll go through with. Okay, a word to the community. You can help us to make this a great newscast. If you see or hear of something newsworthy or something the community should know about, let us know. We'd love to spread the word. So drop us a line at lordbaldrith@thecaverns.net, asclepius@thecaverns.net, or style@thecaverns.net. Thanks to Sir Style Teckle for the technical and website work with the newscast, and also to Amber Rain for airing the program on avatarsradio.com. Background music is Dark Planet by Stephen J. Goldman. So until next week, when we hope to catch you again, this is Asclepius with Echoes from the Caverns.